There we go. The official recording in progress sign is on. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Residents at Vic session as part of the online Open Vic. We're really excited to be fingers crossed things stay the way they are so that we can welcome you all back in person with a lot more in-person programming. But we know that you're probably wondering what residence will be like this upcoming year. So I'll be joined by my wonderful colleagues here in the Dean's office. We'll take you through some virtual tours, update you on the admissions process, and answer any questions that you might have. Throughout the presentation, we know that you might have some really great questions that pop up. Feel free to post it in the chat. We've got two staff members. They've also got staff in their Zoom name able to answer those. And you can also direct message them as well with any of the questions that you have. Okay. So let's get started. What can you expect from today's presentation? So we're going to show you where you can find our virtual tours of Victoria College residences. So if you were unable to make it for the in-person tours, we have some really great videos online where you can take a look and get a sense of what the different buildings and rooms are like. We're going to give you a bit of an update on the admissions process, a meal plan and dining hall overview, speak about our residence life programs and the resources that we have, give you some specific details about our 4 awesome buildings, and then remind you about some of our next steps. So who do we have speaking about residence today? My name is Shiny or Shinia, and I'm the Assistant Dean Student Life, and I'm joined by my other fantastic folks on the residence side of the team. We've got Scott Johnston, who's our Associate Dean. I saw Scott give a wave. You can wave again, Scott.
Hi.
We also have Wanda Hughes-Jones, who's the Executive Assistant to the Dean of Students and the Res Operations Coordinator. Wanda's waving. Thank you, Wanda. And we also have Alicia Telpour, who is our Residence Life Coordinator. So we're all working behind the scenes to get everything ready for your arrival in September, as well as all the communications that you'll be getting throughout the summer. And we all work in the Office of the Dean of Students very closely with our Campus Life team, who you'll meet later today, to bring you lots of excellent programming and support throughout the year.
Perfect. So many of you have already participated in this process, but you would have to apply and indicate that you're interested in residence by March 31st. And then we sent out residence offers. And then by that time, you had to make your first deposit for residence, which is $1,000. There'll be another deadline coming up the week of July 18th. And we'll be sending you your specific, not specific, but your building type and room and on July 18th, and you'll be asked to pay another deposit of $1,000. So we have those 2 different times to allow us to accept all of the offers for residents before we start assigning building and room types. And then in about mid-August, we'll send you your specific room. In terms of other deadlines, there is a deadline of September the 30th when residence and meal plan fees are due. Okay, perfect. So just a quick kind of summary. So we have a lot of people asking us about single or double rooms. If you're in your first year, it's likely that you'll have a double room because that's just based on the number of rooms we have that are double rooms. If you have a medical need or requirement that you would need a single room, please email our office. That email vic.dean@utoronto.ca. We do our best. So as you've already participated in terms of ranking the residence buildings, we do our best to accommodate everyone's preference. But of course, there are times where we can't accommodate everyone's first choice or room type. In terms of roommate choices and preferences, it's really important that you fill out your own residence application and residence information, which will include like your sleeping habits, your preferences, because that's the information that we use to assign your roommates. So please don't have your parents fill out your residence application because it makes our job harder. In terms of preference and our pairings throughout the year. We do a really good job in terms of pairing roommates, and it's very rare that there's an issue throughout the year. There'll be lots of opportunities to kind of connect and have conversations with your roommate based on kind of your style, your preferences, and come up with solutions and get to know each other better. And we'll talk about that later on in the presentation. So dining plan and meal plan and dining hall. So in your first year, you have an option of 2 different meal plans, meal plan A and meal plan B. A meal plan B is slightly larger, and both meal plans include meal dollars and Vic dollars. So meal dollars are things that can be used for like a packaged meal. So you get an entree, and a couple of sides and a drink and a dessert. That would be a meal. And then if you just wanted to buy, like maybe I just want a pop or chips or something like that, a chocolate bar, those would be Vic dollars. The difference between the two is the Vic dollars are taxed and the meal plan dollars are not taxed. So we try and give as much value to students as possible. And that's the difference between the two. If you have Vic dollars that are left over at the end of the year, they do carry over into the start of the following academic term. In terms of the meal plan itself, there are 19 meals per week. So 3 meals Monday to Friday, and then on Saturday and Sunday, there's a brunch and dinner. We have multiple food service options. So there's a student cafe in our student center, as well as the dining hall. The dining hall looks like Harry Potter on the inside if you've had a residence tour already. Food service staff are very happy to accommodate dietary needs. So if you have dietary restrictions or anything that comes up, we would really encourage you to reach out to us and let us know, again, by emailing vic.dean, and we'll connect you to the dining hall and accommodate you. If it's timing or anything else, please reach out to us as soon as possible rather than waiting, because we want to help you as much as possible. Throughout the year as well, there's also QR codes in the dining hall and on tables and throughout. You can scan the QR code, and there's a direct feedback form that goes to the managers of the dining hall. And if there's any concerns, they can also address those directly, or any kind of feedback, positive or negative. They do look at that regularly and do make changes.
Thanks, Scott. So now we'll be talking a little bit more about residence life at Vic. So when you come to the Vic residences, we want to make sure that you feel safe and supported. And part of the support is with our team of residence dons. So we have 21 live-in upper year students who provide peer support, community building, and are on duty to check in on the residences. This is great. The dons also do a lot of extra programming themselves. And programming is then go for events. So events like a crafting night or a dock and talk night, or bringing in somebody from the registrar's office or the writing center to talk about some of your academic success and stress management. So we are very excited that we have this team of residence dons who also work with our team of residence council, who are elected students who live in the buildings as well, to bring all sorts of these community engagement opportunities. As we said, last year, we were able to do more in-person events, and we're excited to see what September will bring for us as well in terms of being able to provide programming. Residence dons also offer virtual programming as well, just in case you might not feel as comfortable coming out to events. And there's lots of ways to stay in connection with the residence dons, whether it's through the various social media pages for the buildings or by knocking on their door and saying that you need some help. Part of that extra resident support, we also have a 24-hour resident services desk, which is located in Margaret Addison Hall. We also have 4 on-call staff who are live-in full-time professional staff who work really closely with the residence dons in case of any emergencies that come up. I'm one of them, Alicia's one of them, and we work to make sure that, if you have any personal emergency need, a mental health concern, a physical health concern, any concerns around COVID-19, that we're here to provide you the support that you need. That being said, we also obviously love to have student engagement with our residents' life. So we love to hear from you in terms of the kinds of events that you want to attend, the kinds of events that will help you make friends and get to know other people in our Vic residences as well.
So they are essentially peers that create community. So really fun, really great group. And we have a new team kind of every year. Very excited for this year's team.
It's going to be great. Shiny. No. That's a great addition. No, the residence dons are really excited. They love working with students, and we are always very lucky to have student staff returning to the team as well. So you can get a little glimpse of some of our resident staff here. And what I'll do now is I'll just take you on a quick virtual tour. So some of you may have seen this on the website already. Actually on our website, if you look up Vic.U Toronto and you go on the Residence Life page, there is a more in-depth tour for each building. But right now we'll just take you through the one for all of the Vic residences. Give me 1 second just to change the screen. Can everybody see that okay? Am I hearing? Okay, perfect.
And welcome to your virtual tour of the residences at Victoria University. Fasten your seatbelt and get ready for a quick 5-minute tour of our 4 residence buildings, their typical residence rooms, and the unique common spaces. Let's go. Let's start with Annesley Hall. Fun fact, Annesley Hall was the first all-female university residence in Canada, and it still continues to house only female identifying students. First, let's take a peek at a typical Annesley Hall residence room. Each residence room has a personal closet, a desk with overhead storage, and a standard twin-size captain's bed with built-in drawers. All of the residents on a single floor in Annesley have the option to use a single-use washroom or to use a shared washroom that features multiple sinks, toilets, and showers. Each floor in Annesley also has a shared kitchen and common room. This space is often used by the residence don or residence council to host educational or social events. Unique to this building is the Annesley Library, a great space for communal study sessions. Also unique to Annesley is the communal music room. Next, let's move on to Burwash Hall. Burwash is a typical co-ed dormitory style residence building, but it's divided into upper and lower Burwash. And while these communities are physically connected, their layout and room styles are actually quite different. So let's start with showing you the upper Burwash residences. Here is a standard upper Burwash single room, equipped with a twin-size captain's bed, a desk with overhead storage, and a personal closet. To give you an idea of a captain's bed, here's the pull-out drawers in action. In Upper Burwash, the students of each house have the option of using a shared bathroom or a single-use bathroom. Next is the Upper Burwash kitchen and common room. Again, this space is often used by the residents don to host events, but is also used as a gathering place for important house meetings. Now let's head down the stairs to Lower Burwash. The Lower Burwash rooms have a little bit of a different layout, with dedicated spaces for studying and sleeping. But each room still comes furnished with a personal closet, a desk with overhead storage, and a single captain's bed. In Lower Burwash, the bathroom facilities are located in between 2 rooms, meaning that you, in one room, would only have to share the bathroom with your next door neighbor. Each house in Lower Burwash has multiple shared kitchens and one central common space. Let's move on to our next building, Margaret Addison Hall. Margaret Addison Hall, or Margad, is a standard dormitory-style co-ed building and is home to our 24-hour resident services desk. As soon as you enter a Margad floor, you're greeted by the large common room. And just a few steps away is the shared community kitchen. Standard Margaret Aston room has a single captain's bed, a desk, and personal closet, but uniquely has built-in shelving and a massive corkboard to allow you to organize your thoughts and ideas for those study sessions. And I'd be remiss not to show you the personal closet. All of the students on a single floor share the communal washrooms that feature multiple sinks, toilets, and showers. Now, the last building on this quick tour is Roll Jackman Hall, or RJ for short. RJ is a co-ed suite style building, meaning that a group of students share a living space similar to an apartment. Each suite is furnished with a kitchen, equipped with major appliances and plenty of storage. The kitchen connects to the larger living space, furnished with a table, as well as couches and chairs in the lounge area. A typical RJ room has a desk, shelf, a captain-sized bed, and a personal closet. Each suite has at least one single-user washroom like this, but depending on the number of people in your suite, you could have more than one washroom. Ooh, and that brings us to the end of our quick virtual tour of the residences at Victoria University. If you want to get a little bit more of an in-depth tour, be sure to check out our longer videos, diving into each of the spaces in each residence. Thanks so much for joining me.
Let me make sure I just get back to the right screen again. Perfect. So as Stephen said in the voiceover for that video, thanks for joining us on that virtual tour. But on our website, you'll definitely get the in-depth virtual tour for each of the buildings. So it will help you figure out what your preference will be as you fill out your residence application. So with that, Scott and I will go through the different buildings just to give you a sense of some of the different features you can expect from each type of building. And of course, if you've got any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. And I know Wanda and Alicia are answering those questions as they come up. So first up, we have Ansley Hall, and it is our smallest residence building with 3 floors. You can find the laundry in the basement. Ansley Hall has a mix of communal and single user bathrooms. So as the video showed, some of them will just have one shower tub, one toilet, one sink, and other washrooms on the floor will have stalled showers and multiple toilets and multiple sinks, just to help with the traffic that comes with everybody brushing their teeth at nighttime. We also have a common room with the TV and a full kitchen on each floor. Dishes aren't provided. So if you do like to cook or find yourself loving to make snacks in the middle of the night, please make sure that you bring some of those dishes with you. There is an elevator in the building as well that will help you get your laundry to the basement. And as Stephen shared in the video, we have some specific unique rooms in Ansley Hall. One is the Tackaberry Library, which students love to study in late at night. We also have a music room with a grand piano. And Ansley Hall is actually our same gender, so a female identifying building.
Ooh, welcome. Come a little bit south and we have Upper Burwash Hall. Upper Burwash is made up of 4 houses, north, middle, gate, and south. Each of these houses has 3 floors. There is a laundry room in the basement of Upper Burwash. The laundry room, as well as all of our buildings' laundry rooms, have used a Coinomatic system. So you can load money on a laundry card at our porter's desk and use that in the machine as you go. There are communal and single user bathrooms. There is a kitchenette in each of the houses, and a common room with a TV, which has cable. As well, all of the rooms have air conditioning, which is nice in September when it's a little bit hot. So again, we're gonna go a little bit further south and you'll reach Lower Burwash. Now, Lower Burwash is made up of Nels, First Cavan, and Bolsganye. Each of these houses has 4 floors. There's laundry again in the basement. Bathrooms are shared single user bathrooms. So that means there's a bathroom in between 2 rooms. So you'd use when you're going in to use the bathroom, you'd lock the door on the other side and you'd use the bathroom and then unlock it. So you can kind of go in between. So it is a little bit more private in terms of the bathroom. There is a kitchenette throughout the various floors. And again, a common room with a TV. For those of you who are here on the weekend getting tours, we did not have Lower Burwash or Annesley Hall open for tours because they are both having their windows replaced. So the good news is much more energy efficient and much warmer in the winter and cooler in the summer. But the bad news is we didn't have tours. So you can see a full tour again online in terms of the links that were shared.
Now we've got Margaret Addison Hall. So when you think of a very traditional dormitory style residence, it's Margaret Hall. So we've got 6 floors in Margaret Addison, and they are all gender. It's also got 2 elevators, and you can find laundry in the basement. Pretty much once you come off the elevator, you're greeted by the common room, which has a TV as well. And then there are communal bathrooms on each floor with one on each side of the floor. There's a smaller kitchenette in Margad, so dishes aren't provided, but still very efficient for those mac and cheese nights, as well as that is where the 24-hour resident services desk is located, in addition to our security office. And Margaret Addison is also one of our buildings with full air conditioning. And then we've got our last building, Roll Jackman Hall, or RJ. And this one has 8 floors with 2 elevators and laundry on the first floor. This is also the building with the parking garage for students on campus who have a car, or for staff on campus. So it does get a little busy with the parking access, but it's really convenient on move-in day. RJ is also the one that's considered our suite style apartment. So it's a full apartment, and you will be placed with other first-year students or even upper-year students. There's a mix of apartments which have single rooms and double rooms. Our fun fact is our largest suite style apartment actually has 14 people, and it's lovingly known as the RJ Mansion. But most of the suites are on average about 6 people in terms of what to expect. RJ also has air conditioning throughout the year, so that's another piece to expect for Royal Jackman Hall.
Just to add one piece about Royal Jackman Hall. So when Shania had mentioned suite style, it's a central kitchen and a common room with rooms based off of that kitchen common room area. So there'll be a little hallway on either side of the kitchen and common room, and you'll have various rooms through there. So it's kind of like a contained unit within the residence itself.
And then just to give you a sense of what to expect and what to bring. And also, before you move in, don't feel like you have to screenshot this right now. We will send you lots of information in what we call our check-in memo, which reminds you of the furniture that's included and the types of things that you need to bring. So this, as you can see, is what the room will look like. We had them all decorated for the tours and for the videos, but this is what it will look like when you move into residence for the first time. So the furniture that's included is a captain's bed. So it is twin size with storage drawers. You'll also have a desk lamp, an office chair, a closet, but no hangers. And you'll also have a garbage can and a recycling bin. So things that you will for sure need to bring are some bedding, your own personal toiletries, cleaning supplies. So there are different rooms and different areas. In terms of your private room, you're expected to clean it all, but in some of our common areas, we do have housekeeping staff. But anything you would need to keep your own room tidy, as mentioned as well, hangers for hanging up your clothes in the closet. And then things that we say are optional, but you can bring to make your room more cozy. You can bring a mini fridge, you can bring a fan, you can bring posters and art, blankets. I saw some questions in the chat as well about, like, can I bring a kettle? You can certainly bring a kettle. Lots of students love to have kettles in their room. We just say no heat plates because that is a concern for fire safety. And then we've just got some facilities information for you as well. So common bathrooms, as we talked about, like the bathrooms in Margaret Addison Hall and Upper Burwash Hall, are cleaned by Vic housekeeping staff on an increased basis, especially since the pandemic has started. We also have common areas of Vic property cleaned by housekeeping staff, but cleaning of semi-private bathrooms are actually the responsibility of students. So all students in Royal Jackman Hall, you will be responsible for cleaning your own suite and your own bathrooms, and Lower Burwash Hall hall. You'll be responsible for cleaning your own bathrooms as well. This is where the helpful dons come in. All dons will sit with students in September, especially if you have a roommate or suite mates, and go through things like a roommate agreement, a suite mate agreement, and help you figure out your torch schedule as well to make things as smooth as possible for you throughout the year. We also have several hand sanitizer stations located throughout our campus and our residences. With respect to laundry, I saw a few questions about laundry as well. You will get a reloadable laundry card when you move into residence, and the machine to reload your card is located on the first floor of Margaret Addison Hall. Laundry soap is not provided, so please bring that as well when you move into residence. And essentially, you'll just be able to refill your card and use that fillable card to pay for your laundry, for your washer and your dryer. So what are your next steps with respect to applying to residence?
Woohoo! Oh, so exciting. So as I mentioned earlier, you'll receive your building and so building assignments and room type mid-July. You'll receive your specific room as of August, so mid-August. Residence fees will be posted after your tuition fees in August. And in terms of the fees themselves, they're posted on Acorn around August the 15th. Other things, if you have additional questions about fees and deadlines, please visit the U of T student accounts page. So if you're worried about not being able to pay your residence fees on time, and if there's any interest incurred, all of that information is available online on the student accounts page. So move-in process. So as mentioned, you'll receive several emails in August regarding your move-in and orientation. If you're an international student, maybe international orientation as well. And you'll get a bunch of orientation mail throughout. In terms of specific spots and move-in date, our move-in date right now is September the 4th. Of course, dates we depending on if there are any changes or any additional time available for students to move in earlier, that could change in terms of it being possibly earlier, but as of now, it will be September 4th, and that won't change. So there could be additional times at a future date, but at this point in time, no. If you require additional move-in times or an earlier time, please email wanda@vic.dean, and we can try to accommodate you. But again, it will really depend on if your room is available for an earlier move-in time.
And also, as we said, keep an eye on your inbox. It's going to get busy in August, but that's where you'll get all the residence updates, the check-in memo, as well as some important residence instructions, like a pre-arrival video to watch, as well as any specific instructions for like where you should park and how the move-in day will actually work. So that will be confirmed later on in the summer, but all of our communications from our office will be sent to your email.
So early arrival information. If you're arriving from outside Canada, please be mindful of travel advisories and health check requirements. These are above and beyond the things that we would implement, so that's based on the government of Canada. If you think you'll need quarantine information, there is quarantining at this point available to students. And if you are arriving early, again, please let us know and we'll do our best to accommodate you. But really important that you do communicate with us so we can know and we can help you. And that goes for kind of anything in terms of meal accommodations or added supports.
And then just as a final reminder, so there is an online U of T residence FAQ, frequently asked questions. It will be updated throughout the summer, and that's especially where you can find out any updates with respect to travel restrictions, health advisories, as well as any information with respect to the U of T quarantine. Any VIC specific questions, you can always email us at vic.dean@utoronto.ca with your question, and somebody from our office will follow up. 99% of the time it will be Wanda Hughes-Jones, but on the occasion that she gets a break and gets to take a little bit of a vacation this summer, it might be Scott or myself or Alicia responding to your inquiry, or one of our great student interns. And with that, feel free to ask more questions in the chat box. We do have some time now to answer some of your questions out loud. So what I'll do is, because I know it's always hard on Zoom screens to see everybody, I'll take it off the screen share. And that way we can just have everybody's video on if you feel comfortable. And if not, you can also raise your hand, and our RLC, Alicia, will ask some questions that will come up to her in the chat, but we can also ask questions out loud, because I'm sure that if you were wondering if you should ask a question, there's a good chance that somebody else is thinking about that question too. So let me just stop this share. Perfect. Any questions at the moment? Does anybody want to raise their hand up? William, go for it.
Hello.
Hello.
I was wondering, are we going to be paying our residents and meal plans fees per semester, or all in one lump sum at the beginning?
Scott?
Wanda may be best to answer this, but I think it's billed on a per semester basis, like all of your fees.
Including, would that be tuition too, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Wanda, am I correct?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
The fees are billed per semester, right? Not as a lump sum.
All fees are posted at once. You're to pay your fall tuition fees first, and then your winter fees by the end of November.
So they're posted at the same time.
They're all posted at the same time, yes.
But you don't have to pay at the same time.
You don't have to pay the whole lump sum in August. You do have to pay it by September, or I believe it's September 30th, the fall tuition fees, and November 30th for your winter tuition fees and residence fees.
Just a side note, in order to register, you have to make sure that you pay by August 31st your tuition. So if you don't pay by then, you will not be registered as a student for the next year. This is only
There's
your
an August 31st deadline in there. I just couldn't remember what it was for.
Yeah, it's the registration deadline. So you have to register in order to be an official U of T student.
So your academic fees are the most important to pay kind of right away, is the short version of the story. So make sure you pay those fees by the end of August, as Sarah outlined.
But tuition by August 31st.
Yeah.
And also, as a reminder, we know that some of you folks might be applying for OSAP or waiting on other student loans. So if you're unsure about the timing with respect to receiving your funding, as well as like when you have to register, please contact the registrar's office or our office for more information on that, because there are deferral options available, but you just have to make sure you go through the right steps so that you do not get unenrolled from classes. So that's a note, whether you're waiting for your OSAP, which is your Ontario student loan, or if you're waiting from a provincial student loan from another province, please make sure that you are keeping your eye out for those timelines and also communicating with our offices, both the registrar's office and the dean's office, with respect to any fee deferrals.
It also applies if you have a major scholarship, so something worth more than your first semester tuition, and then you'll have a deferral for that as well. And you can email us to find out more.
Sarah, can you share the email for the registrar's office in the chat?
No problem. I'll pop it in the chat.
Thank you. And William, did you have another follow-up, or was that the question? Oh, perfect. Okay, and then next, I love that Zoom automatically puts folks in order. So I've got Alice next with a question to ask out loud.
Hello, I just want to ask if you have a vegetarian option for your meal.
Oh yeah, no, great question. I'm a vegetarian myself. There are lots of vegetarian options in the dining hall, so it is something that's helpful just to note on your residence application, but that's not something that requires specific or special accommodation in terms of meeting with the food services staff member. There's always a vegetarian option available in the dining hall, and if you are in a situation where you find yourself, maybe you've got some allergies in addition to your dietary preference or needs, or you're finding that you're not able to find something that suits your dietary requirements, please just reach out to us or to staff in the food services hall, and we're happy to set up a meeting with you to follow up. But lots of vegetarian options.
That also includes vegan options too.
Yeah.
So there are several vegan options as well.
Thank you.
No worries, Alice. Any other questions, or was that it for your question?
That's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Alice. Next up, I see I have Ariel with your hand up.
Hello.
Hi, Ariel.
I saw a question in the chat, but I didn't see an answer, so I want to ask again.
Of course.
It was regarding COVID, and it was if we catch COVID or if our roommate catches COVID, is there another room that we go to quarantine, or is there any solution to that issue?
Yeah, great question. So we over the 2 years of the pandemic that our residences have been open, our quarantine and isolation requirements have changed and been updated as the U of T guidelines have been updated in addition to public health guidelines. So if there is still requirements for quarantining or isolation, then we will be able to either have spots on site or work with U of T to be able to support you through that. But we know that the guidelines and the health restrictions and guidelines and recommendations constantly are changing. So whatever it lands in September, we will have supports available for that. Is sort of the general answer. And also with respect to that, we would have to follow whatever public health gives us as guidelines for contact tracing, if that includes roommates or doesn't include roommates. So we follow that based on what public health gives us and what our different health experts at the university tell us to follow. So we are unfortunately just the folks that, execute the decisions and follow up and move people as needed, but those decisions in terms of who needs to quarantine and when are given to us from U of T and from public health.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else for that, Scott?
No, this year we were relocating students to isolation rooms. Again, as the situation evolves, we'll be getting more information at the same time. It's still kind of a little bit early to say what the final results will be in terms of impacts for COVID as of September. I think we'll have more answers come mid-July.
No, definitely. And that goes with everything, whether it's like mask restrictions or vaccine requirements, all of that will be communicated through U of T. And if there's any requirements that come up like that, we'll make sure that you're aware of that prior to move-in. And then Zachary, I see that you've got your hand up as well.
Hi there. I was wondering about Vic 100. I saw on the website that there's Vic 100 courses, and I was wondering if those are for credit or if they're like extracurriculars, or if you're able to take them with other first-year programs.
Great question, but I'm going to lob that to Sarah from the registrar's office because I am not the expert in that area.
Yeah, so that's a course-based question. Vic 100 courses are just regular first-year courses. They're named 100 because they start with the 100 course code, but they would be your small class requirement. So if you're not doing Vic 1, Vic 100 would be a great option to fulfill the Victoria College requirement for a small course.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any other questions that people might want answered out loud?
Yes.
Yes, Katya, go ahead.
And then William after that, I think.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep, I see the hand up now. So we'll have Katya and then William.
Hi, so I know that there was a link posted about the orientations, but for international students, is it an online orientation or does it have to be in person?
Yeah, so I believe the International Student Orientation, which is an orientation before our main Vic orientation, that is being planned for in-person as well. If you are unable to attend the in-person international orientation, or ISO for short, then feel free to reach out to our office because I'm still unsure if some of the sessions will be recorded or if they are still hosted in an online space from last year's online orientation. But right now, planning for our in-person for both international orientation and orientation is for in-person events, but we know that some folks might not be able to make it to campus in time, so some of those sessions will be hosted in an online area.
Okay, and then did you say that there was going to be another sort of orientation closer to move-in days, or is that the only orientation?
Yes, great question. So there's the International Students Orientation, so ISO, and that specifically has a lot of programs that support international student needs, like talking about getting your health insurance set up, getting yourself situated here in Toronto, connecting with some of the very specific international student resources. And then we lead right into what we call orientation week, which is our big Vic orientation week. And I believe at the student life program session that'll be happening later today, you'll hear a bit more about that, but it's got a mix of everything from socials to some free food so you can meet students, whether you're in residence or a commuter student, as well as different academic transitional seminars and sessions.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I believe ISO there is a separate cost for, so you will have to pay for that when you register. But for the main Vic orientation, it's free. You've already paid for it. So please make sure that you come out to the events if you are here. And I'm seeing the follow-up question, Frosh Week. Yes, that is the same as orientation. It used to be called Frosh Week. Now it's called Orientation Week. And then William, back to you.
Okay, so this might be a question for Sarah because it has to do with Vic 1 and Vic 100. But I was wondering, so if we're not in the Vic 1 program, what are we missing out on requirement-wise, and what can we do to fulfill those requirements?
Requirement-wise, it's just the Vic requirement for having a small seminar. You're not really missing out on anything. It's more of an additional experience that will make your first year more cohort-based, smaller. Another way to fulfill that would be Vic 100, which you don't have to apply for. They're just courses. All you have to do is enroll, or any of the first year foundation seminars by U of T. All of those courses are small class seminars. So all you have to do is during enrollment day on July 21st is just add it to your enrollment cart and enroll.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I had another question too, if this person.
Go for it.
Okay. So when we're thinking about our classes and what we want to enroll in, should we be doing that now and like with a planner online?
Yes, you should be starting to plan. And if you want to email me to talk about courses, I'll put my email in the chat again. But those ones we can have an off chat since this is supposed to be residence focused, but we'll do more planning later down the summer. Check out the sessions for the later in the week and we'll have more academic focused ones.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. But great questions, William. I'm sure other folks in the call are also wondering that. So definitely echo what Sarah's saying about don't miss out on the academic sessions happening later this week for online Open Vic. And then we've got Effie.
Thank you. It's again about academic something, but I would like to ask Sarah again that is it possible to waive the week requirements? Like I saw something like that on Reddit, but if the course requirement is too overloaded, is it possible to waive it?
Yes, email me and we'll have a chat about it.
Thank you very much.
Just to give us time to talk about resident specific questions, maybe if we can stick to the residence questions for this session. Any kind of other academic questions, you should certainly reach out to Sarah or the registrar's office, and they would be better suited to answer those questions. We're just a different department, so we're not as equipped to assist you in kind of academic questions at this presentation.
Thanks, Scott, for that clarification. I think, yeah, you've got the residence experts here, so this is your time if you're wondering about anything residence. Charlotte?
I was just wondering if there's a specific medical check or any sort of form you need to fill out for the residences or the university in general before arrival.
Yeah, great question. So when you fill out your residence application, there is an area where you can fill out oh no, Wanda's saying, no, please Wanda, correct me.
Charlotte, I think you emailed me about this. You're asking about like vaccinations and stuff like that.
Yeah, or anything you need to give like a general care practitioner here to get like a medical check or anything before you come.
So as far as I know, no. Does anybody else know the answer to that?
It would just be if U of T has any updates with respect to vaccination requirements, and that you would probably upload it online. But other than that, we would just ask that if there's anything we need to know about for your own personal medical health and well-being, that's an emergency need, then include that in your residence application. But there is no like pre-check that you would need.
So all of those medical requirements would be administered or managed through U of T directly. And you should, if there are any updates, be receiving those kind of shortly.
Charlotte, you're in the States, right?
I actually live in Bosnia, so just kind of wondering, kind of international, kind of not.
The American schools ask to show all childhood vaccinations and stuff like that, but I don't think U of T does. But reach out to the vice provost's office if you really want
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Charlotte, why don't you send an email to Wanda and then we can
She
follow up with
has.
that. Okay. So we can follow up directly with the provost office. I can do that.
The other piece that I would echo as well is if you do have any medical accommodation needs, please make sure that you both email vic.dean and let our office know, as well as register with accessibility services. And that's everything from if you require support or a service animal or anything like that, we just really need to know in advance so we can make those accommodations. And if we need to work with the resident system and the accessibility office, that's why it's really important that we know as much in advance as possible.
Before we head to William, Alicia, do you have any questions in the chat that we should also answer?
Yeah, so we've had a lot of people curious about what winter break looks like and in terms of whether we have closures or not. That's if anyone else wants to.
Yeah, no, great question coming through. So with respect to winter, we do close for our winter term, not our winter term, our winter break period. It's usually about a 2-week period. We close the day after the exams are done and we open up right before classes start. If you are unable to travel back to your home city or state or country for that time period, we'll help you find housing in Toronto. So the U of T housing office as well, they will help with support with winter housing accommodation. The dates as well, once you finalize your residence agreement and you sign that, you'll receive all of our dates for closure as well, so you'll be able to plan. You will not be able to stay in the residences, but your items can stay in the residences. So that's the other thing that you don't have to worry about. You don't have to pack up all of your belongings. They can certainly stay here. Great.
Any other questions, Alicia? No?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay, William, take it away.
So, which of the residence buildings are equipped with AC units built in the rooms?
That's a great question. All of the residence buildings, other than Ansley Hall and I believe Lower Burwash Hall, have air conditioning units. So that includes Margaret Addison, Royal Jackman Hall, and Upper Burwash.
Thank you.
Keep in mind, you're in the academic term is mostly during the colder months of the year. So really, the times where you would maybe want or need air conditioning, you won't be in residence. So there'll be a few weeks in September, it could be warmer, and again at the end of the year in late April. But most of the time it's cool and you'll probably want the heat.
Oh yeah, I guess I also kind of in my question meant to include is there heating in the building?
Certainly heating in all of the buildings. Yeah, and in terms of the thermostat for the heating, some of the thermostats are shared, for example, within a suite. In RJ, some of the rooms share, and other times it's individual thermostats within the room.
Thank you. Thank you.
Scott, I have a question in the chat. People are wondering how roommates are chosen and if they have to find them on their own. So you don't need to find your own roommate. When you're filling out the residence application, there's a profile section that we need you to fill out. Preferably you fill it out and not your parents. That way we can get a more accurate match for your roommate. So we do it that way. But if you do happen to meet a friend via OpenVic or while you're out visiting the campus or whatever, and you think you'd be a good match for a roommate, just email vic.dean@utoronto.ca and I will happily post pitches together.
I would caution you with just picking a random stranger that you met on Facebook.
I didn't say Facebook, I said it.
Or in person. I would encourage you, like, I think it's good if you've been friends for a long time and you're both coming to campus and you know each other from high school. Makes sense. I would also say the other piece of this in terms of roommates, you both have to tell us that you want to be placed with each other. And we will not place you together unless you're both requesting each other, which sometimes happens that somebody really wants to live with one person and the other person doesn't, in which case it's an awkward conversation for us because we won't say anything, but just putting it out there that you both have to request at the same time. And there is a timeliness to it. So We will be slotting people in kind of after their in late July. So really, it is important that you get back to us sooner rather than later if you have a preference.
And this is a follow-up as well with the other question in chat about how likely are we to get paired with a roommate that meets our preferences. The more honest you are in your profile, the better. And I would say, like, do a little self-check. When you answer the questions about your sleep habits, is that the sleep habit goals you have for coming into your first year of residence, or is that the sleep habits that you actually have because you're like, no, I'm a night owl, I know I get my best work done at nighttime? So really, the more honest you are, the better and easier it is for us to be able to place you with a roommate that fits your needs. And of course, as mentioned, we have residence dons that go through things like a roommate contract and a roommate agreement to be able to make sure that you're on the same page with each other, because we know that's really difficult if you've never shared close living spaces like that before. And the other piece is, I know with all of the questions going on, sometimes it can feel like we're talking about very specific things like room facilities, or very general things like what living in residence will be like. If you've got a question, you're not quite sure where it fits in, but it's about residence life, maybe you're not sure about what's it going to be like making friends in residence, what if you're going to have a hard time, or what if you get homesick but you really want to come to residence, email us. I know it can feel weird sending an email off like that to just a general vic.dean account, but I promise it's not going to a robot. It is coming to somebody in this office. It's coming to Wanda, and Wanda will send it along to somebody else in our office based on what your needs are and what your questions are. So even if you're worried about mental health supports in residence, or physical health supports, or what you can do or how to find that kind of help, and you want to know because you want to prep yourself a little bit before you arrive, please make sure you email us and we'd be happy to set up a Zoom chat or a phone call to walk you through any of those concerns. Or if you're like, I think I need something like accessibility, but I have no idea where to start and I don't know what to do, and maybe other offices at U of T haven't had a chance to respond yet, just let us know and we'll really try to work with you to make sure that you're feeling settled and ready for residence here at Vic.
In terms of, I know there's been a bunch of questions about roommate pairings, and we do take those evaluations very seriously, and it includes like sleep and wake times, studying preferences, smoking, non-smoking. So really important you fill it out, but we do a great job of pairing people. It's really rare that we'll have a roommate issue.
We have one more quick question. Somebody's asking about playing musical instruments in the residence rooms, like their physical rooms. Do you guys want to take that?
Yeah. Alicia, did you want to answer that one?
Yeah, so we do typically, have some sort of like music hours, within like the daytime, so that you are able to usually practice your instruments. We also have lots of places around U of T where there are music specific practice rooms, which we really encourage you to use. They're great spaces. You get lots of privacy there. So there's some in the music faculty and some others around U of T campus.
We've officially got 5 minutes. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I know there's a question about single rooms and how many single rooms are there. It's about 25% of first year rooms available are single rooms.
So officially 5 minutes left. Any last questions for us? William, go for it.
So on the preferences, it said if we were comfortable with having a roommate that, like a no smoking room or smoking room, right? I kind of thought that maybe the residences wouldn't have like no smoking policies.
Oh, to clarify, all of our rooms are non-smoking, but individuals might choose to smoke outside. And some people are very sensitive to the smells of cigarettes on clothing. So that's where people are asked to identify if they are a smoker or a non-smoker or would prefer a non-smoking resident. But to be very clear, all of our residences are non-smoking, including the burning of any candles or incense, because we want to respect the fact that one, there's a fire safety issue there, and two, we have a lot of sensitive folks in our communities, and we want to be mindful of that.
So campus is also non-smoking.
Mm-hmm.
So the entire campus is non-smoking. So if students do want to smoke, they actually have to go on to the city sidewalk to smoke cigarettes. Any other questions?
These have been really great questions. Thank you so much for all of your participation as well. Okay.
So excited to welcome all of you back to campus. it's going to be a big change for us this year to have everyone kind of back in person, and we're looking at basically full occupancy. So very, very exciting. If you have, what about one last thing I wanted to mention in terms of building preferences? So I'm sure all of you ranked your building preferences correctly, but if those changed, could you please email vic.dean and let Wanda know if you haven't done so already.
So that final reminder, I've put the vic.dean@utoronto.ca email in the chat. So feel free to email us with any questions or concerns you have about residence living. Even if you're not sure what your question is, but you're like, I just don't know how to put this in an email, I'd really like a phone appointment, we can certainly set those up. Everything from what are the mental health supports on campus? What are the accommodations that you might require for living in residence? Or if you're just like, okay, I'm making a big decision, I'm not sure if this is the right fit for me before I make my final deposit. So feel free to reach out to us. We're here to help. Everything, even from like questions around fees or finances, or if you need bursary support or you don't know about your deferrals, and we're happy to help. And thank you for all of your participation today.